All right, YouTube Repo Man 64. I am going to try something new to upload yesterday's video. I got both earpieces in today, and that might also help. There are those, I think, watch it on television, and it's coming across in mono and only working on one speaker. So I have both earpieces in, which I think makes it in stereo. I don't know. So I don't know if that'll probably not help with the video. I'm going to play the video from yesterday. The sound recorded fine on my side. I don't know why it didn't upload to YouTube the sound. There were a couple of comments that said we can hear the sound just fine. Others said no, I couldn't hear it, so I pulled it down two different times. So I'm going to play the video and just basically stand here while it plays, and then I'll come back on at the end. Notice the color of my shirt. This is now. I needed this to play yesterday because as of, I don't even know exactly what time, 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock tonight, Eastern Standard Time, here in about 4 hours, um, it becomes the 30th in Israel. And I keep seeing this 30th jumping up, and that was what was so important in this video. And I'll play it now. And hopefully this time it comes through. All right, YouTube, Repo Man 64. I should have shaved, huh? I can grow a beard in like 3 days. It's crazy. Can't grow it up here. It grows down here really nice. Um, so still excited, still watching, still searching. I have a feeling, and I thought about this the other day, that when we get to heaven, that each of us, where's the camera at, are going to bring our piece of the puzzle. God has given each one of us, whether we're on YouTube or not, He's given each one of us pieces to a puzzle. And when we get there, we'll be able to assemble this puzzle to see exactly where the Lord has been guiding us, where the Holy Spirit has been guiding us this whole time. I don't think one channel, of course, has all the pieces. I certainly don't. Um, but I do think that everyone that's watching, and I think, I don't know how many there are, but I just saw another piece of the puzzle down there. Let me go get it. This is a bigger piece of the puzzle. Some people probably have bigger pieces of the puzzle than others. But I think everyone has a part of it, and we're all a part of this watch group, and we're all contributing to try to figure this out, obviously. And ultimately, uh, and that's why I watch, that's why I'm subscribed to over 200 channels. I watch as many as I can, and take off as much information or take out as much information from what they're saying as I can, and then I go do my research, and I'm like, wow, that makes sense, and we learn from each other. So I'm going to go through a bunch of pictures. I've been working on it all week, studying all week, and see what we can see. Still looking at November 30th. To me, that's I mean, it's in Ezra, and remember, Ezra 10:9, when you read it, it says, on the 20th day of the ninth month, they were assembled. It was raining, and they were shaking for either because of the rain or out of fear. And it took them 3 days to gather. It took them so something happened 3 days earlier. They got the warning, they got the message. And what day was that? That was November the 30th. That date keeps popping up everywhere in everything I'm seeing. It's not in the Bible. That specific date is not in the Bible, aside from Ezra 10:9. I can't find it anywhere else, but just events keep popping up showing November the 30th. So let me go through the pictures. Remember this in John 4. Say not ye that there are yet 4 months, then cometh the harvest. Behold, I say unto you, lift up your eyes and look on the fields, for they are white already. So this indicates that 4 months before something, excuse me, happens. And as you know, I've done the math, and 4 months um, before Jesus rises is Kislev 20. That's December the 3rd. And 4 months before Jesus goes to the cross exactly is November the 30th. So we have a November 30th date here that pops up. It doesn't exactly say that, but if you, and of course we go to the cross because the cross is where we're supposed to be looking always. So when you go to the cross, you come up with those two dates. Based on this passage, you come up with November 30th and you come up with December 3rd. So we continue on. All right, here we are. Let's see here. Where are we at right now? We are before December the 7th. Remember, on December the 7th at nightfall, Hanukkah begins, the Festival of Lights. It begins at nightfall on December the 7th, becoming December the 8th. Towards after the 6th month, a lot of the events take place at nightfall. Remember, God began creation at nightfall. If you read in Genesis, you'll see he says, and the night and the day was the first day. He began at nightfall. He knew what nightfall was before he created the sun. So here we are, coming up on November the 30th in literally a day and a half. And maybe that's our 7 day warning. Maybe that's the rapture. I'm not completely sure. I guess we're going to find out when we get closer, right? All right. Here's the Ezra passage I was talking about. Then all the men of Judah and Benjamin gathered themselves together unto Jerusalem within 3 days. You see that? 3 days. That's how long Jesus died on the cross. And 3 days later, he rose. 84 hours later, he rose. It was the ninth month and 20th day of the month. Now, they had gathered on the ninth month and 20th day. 3 days earlier, some word came to them telling them that they had to gather. That would be November the 30th to December the 3rd, because the ninth month and 24th day is December the 7th, which is Hanukkah. So all the people sat in the street of the house of God, trembling because of this matter, and for the great rain. So they were either well, it says both. Honestly, it says they were nervous about the matter, and there was a great rain that was going on. And I've heard, or I read, I don't recall exactly, but I've heard that they're saying this great rain might possibly indicate a rapture. They're associating the great rain with a rapture. So we keep going. And you've seen this from Commander Kelly over at Cool Cat. He's been really teaching on this. He did an amazing job teaching on this. And he goes through all this. And I show you that the 24th day of the ninth month is Hanukkah. That's Hanukkah. So we have the 24th day of the ninth month. We come back here into Ezra, and they finally assembled after 3 days of assembly on the 20th day of the ninth month. So they are together on that, and like the dates are right there, all combined. Like I said, you've got November the 30th, you've got December the 3rd, and you've got December the 7th. And we find, and we've studied this, and I've talked to a lot of people, the exact date shows up. The 24th day of the ninth month shows up 3 times written, and it is implied another 4 times, for a total of 7 times. 3 times written, 4 times implied. It's mentioned 7 times in this little tiny book, Haggai, with only 2 chapters. And in the second chapter, it mentions, and if you read through it, it's very short. read through it, you'll see where it says, "From this day I will bless you." So it's talking about what day? That day. It's talking about December the 7th, Hanukkah. Sorry. So I did a little math on my own. 16, what was it? 16, what's it, 1650? 1260 and 1260 adds up to 2520. From November the 30th, that mystery day that keeps showing up, this I'm going to show you some more. It's not just showing up right there in Ezra's. It shows up in other places. But this mystery day that keeps showing up, November the 30th, from that day, you count forward 2,520 days, and just as in the days of Noah, October the 24th is the day that Noah was told to get into the ark. And so we go a week later to Hanukkah, December the 7th, and you count 2,520 days, and it lands on the very day God shut the door and um, the rain began to fall. That was the day God wiped the planet clean. Is he going to do the same thing again in 2030? Is he going to do the same exact thing again in exactly 2,520 days from the rapture? So it ties in with those two dates again, November the 30th. So we have another November the 30th showing up. And what happens on November the 30th or on October the 24th? Noah is ordered into the ark. He goes into the ark. This is the day Methuselah dies. He's ordered into the ark, and it's but he sits in the door of the ark with the ark door open, and it's 2,520 days to that. So when we read in the Bible, just as in the days of Noah, it matches. All right. Luke 19. Remember, this has been over a course of a week. I don't recall exactly why I took every picture. And he answered and said unto them, I tell you that if these should hold their peace, oh, people are asking us all the time, stop setting dates. I still get comments, stop setting dates. You're going to be glad that we did when the rapture occurs, because you're going to know we're the only ones out here. There are 8 billion people on this planet right now. There are 8 billion people on this planet not talking about this whatsoever. There is a church slap full of people that are not talking about this whatsoever. We are just a mustard seed of people around this planet that are longing for this day, so much so that we have been searching for years for the next date. And when's the next one? And when's the next one? I can't imagine stating that the rapture is not going to be very soon. I've been doing this for, I think it's coming up on 3 years. I don't recall exactly when so I have to go back to YouTube to see the date of my first video, but of course I started long before that, but my first YouTube, I don't recall when it was or what the date was. So, but this is our dream. And I see this guy's prepper channel. He's a prepper and he has 1.5 million people in there. And I think I said this in the last video. He makes a comment. He goes, with the warnings that we see coming, with the ships moving and all the nuclear talk, I'm surprised and shocked that more people aren't buying these meals, which he gets a percentage of every sale of those meals. And they supposedly last 25 years, and you get them in a bucket or something, and it's a 3 month supply. I listen to his channel for the news because they seem to have the inside track on everything that's going on. And he makes the comment he's shocked that more people aren't getting involved in this. And I say, well, there's several reasons why. I want to tell him, but I don't. He's not going to listen. There's several reasons. There's the Christians, the bride, who know we don't need that stuff. And if we did buy it, it's for people who we know will be left behind. Then there's the church who say Jesus isn't coming back for another 100 years. That's a great multitude. They're there, they're close by, but they're not quite looking forward to this. They are looking forward to things going on in this world. They don't want to leave this world behind. They're still hanging on to the world. And then you have the other 8 billion people who have zero interest in any of it. They're just going out every day living their lives. They're not even considering this whatsoever. So those are the only people that he might get somebody to buy his 25-year shelf life meals, but the rest of us, I just don't. That would be his answer. So if we don't speak out, which we do, but if we decided to stop and say, "Hey, this rapture isn't for another year or two. We figured it out, and if since my date was wrong, it means it's not going to happen until my date sometime in the future." The problem with that is Cool Cat has figured out the Psalms, and several others have as well that I've seen. And we are in the Psalm where it has to happen right now. That Psalm will pass based on the year next year. We won't be in that Psalm next year. So we still are not going to give up on this year. We're still here. And we're going to keep screaming this from the tops of the mountains. And when he was come near, he beheld the city and wept over it, saying, If thou hadst known, even thou, at least in this thy day, the things which belong to thy peace, but now they are hid from thine eyes. As soon as we go, they are not going to know what happened. They're going to be dumbfounded. For the day shall come upon thee that thine enemies shall cast a trench about thee, and compass thee around, and keep thee on every side, and shall lay thee even with the ground, and thy children with thee. Right there, that little part there confuses me. We try to say that all children are going. Are these children that are born during the tribulation? Are these children of the completely unfaithful parents? Where are these children coming from that will be laid even with the ground? They're going to be killed even with the ground alongside their parents with thee, and they shall not leave in thee one stone upon another, because thou hast not known the time of thy visitation. So they missed it. When Jesus came last time, they missed it. Uh, they're going to miss it again when he comes this time. This is why Jesus wept over Jerusalem, because they missed it. And we certainly are going to continue to watch and try to figure this out. And at the end of the day, Amos 3:7 will be fulfilled by God. Not one of us is going to show up in heaven with an entire puzzle. We're going to show up with a puzzle piece to assemble this puzzle, but we're not going to show up with an entire puzzle stating, I figured it out. Jesus isn't going to wrap his arms around you going, this is the one guy on the face of the earth over the last 6,000 years. 16 billion people. They say that there are more people alive today than have ever died throughout history. So there's 8 billion people alive today. So I'm guesstimating 16 billion people in all. And this person figured it out all on their own. That's not going to happen. Nobody's going to figure this out all on their own. Nobody's going to show up in heaven with a full puzzle. You're going to show up with a piece, maybe two. Remember, the rich man left and he gave one guy or one per. I don't know if it's a guy. I'm sure it was guys. He gave one guy what was it, 10 pieces? I don't recall how much money he gave, or I don't know, remember how much money he gave, but and what happened? The money was multiplied when he came back, except for the one who just buried the information and didn't share it with everyone. And that one, it was taken from him, given to the which one? The one that had the most. So there will be people that show up in heaven with several puzzle pieces. But who had all the puzzle? Who had the full puzzle? The guy that owned the money. He had the full puzzle, not the guy with a few pieces of it. All right, let me go back to this and show you again, Sister Sandy. And I wish you'd put, Sister Sandy, you need to put your website on everything you do for me, because I don't remember these things. This is not how my brain works. My brain remembers numbers and dates. It doesn't remember names and websites. Endtime-studies.com is her website. And in there you'll find uh, not just mine, but even Commander Kelly, she put together one for him, super nice, about all the seals, bowls, and trumpets. I said that backwards: seals, trumpets, and bowls. And she put that together for him. So she does an amazing job on the computer for us. She does a lot of work for us, and we appreciate that. So here, this is the 3 days that they were warned to gather. They finally gathered. Remember, they were shaking because of the gathering and because of the heavy rain on Kislev 20, the ninth month and 20th day, which is December the 3rd. What happens on November the 30th? I don't know. Is it a warning for us? Are we raptured on that day? I'm not sure. And then, of course, you see 7 days later is Hanukkah, which starts at nightfall, which is mentioned in Haggai 3 times and then implied 4 more times for a total of 7 times. Are there not 7 churches? And then you see here from November the 30th, the 3 days of them being told they had to gather, you go forward and you land right on the cross. Nisan 14, March 30th. I know it's March 30th because you count, like the Bible says, 150 days. I know the world is saying a different date. I don't know where they found an extra 23 days from, but for me, the sun comes up, I give it a day. The sun comes up again, I give it a day. The Bible says it's 150 days from when the flood started. The world said this year that the flood started October the 31st. You count 150 days from there, you'll land on March 30th. If you count from Nisan 1, the day of equal parts, the day that never changes, ever, it never ever changes. It always has 12 hours in a day and 12 hours at night. You count 14 days later, you land on March 30th. Both of those land on March 30th. Double confirmation that March 30th is the day Jesus went to the cross. 3:30, 30 AD at 3 p.m. Then you come back here and you go from when they were sitting in front of the temple, shivering because of the news that they had to gather and because of the heavy rain. December the 3rd, you go 4 months. Remember, that's 3 days. I'm sure it's 84 hours. It's 3 days. And you land. The arrow goes over. I don't have a line down there, but you land at the cross, which is April the 2nd. I'm sorry, the resurrection, April the 2nd at nightfall, which becomes April the 3rd when he rises. All right, let's go to the next picture. Uh, Truly, I tell you, oh, this is that passage that everybody was asking me. Where do you see that in the Bible that he's going to dress up like a waiter? Here it is. Truly, I tell you, he will dress himself to serve and will have them recline at the table, and he himself will come and wait on them. It doesn't say anything about the bride. It doesn't say, it says he himself, Jesus himself, will dress up as a waiter while you are reclined at a table and he will serve you. Remember, when the king marries a wife, he doesn't degrade her and tell her she's nothing and locks her away. No, he dresses her up. He makes her beautiful. He serves her. He wants her to feel that she has a right to be where he is. He wants his new bride, his bride, to go out into public and assume that role that he has given her. He doesn't want to push her down. He wants to build her up. And that's exactly what happens when we get to heaven and Jesus bestows upon us these wonderful gifts that we don't deserve. But that's what he's going to do. And he's going to build us up and he's going to tell us, I know, but I covered that. So we're never going to talk about it again. I know what you did. I know how you're beating yourself up right now out there. And I'm no different. But right now out there, there are people who are beating themselves up over things they did. And there are other people who haven't done that much bad. And they're always pointing their finger at everybody else. I didn't do what he did. He did something pretty bad. So I'm a shoe in. I'm going to heaven. And God says, be careful. You don't need me because it sounds like you got it all covered yourself and they're going to be left behind. And there's a lot of people like there's a great multitude like that. But I think there's somebody out there, and I'm not being psychic or anything. I just know myself, not trying to be weird about it, but there's somebody out there that needs to hear this. I don't care what you did. I don't care what you, Jesus, actually, who cares about me, right? Jesus doesn't care what you did. And he's covered you with the blood and he's made you to feel the way you feel right now. And you just want to be with him and you don't want anything to do with this world. You have nothing here to look forward to. And that's all you want. And that's everything in your world is Jesus. And that's where you want to be. That means you're saved. John 6:44. He called you, and once he starts a good work, he doesn't stop. So you need to hear, you need to forgive yourself, first of all, because he did. Stop beating yourself up. Get into the Bible, start searching, and start trying to figure this out with us. And keep the comments coming of the math that you're doing. Some of it I don't understand. Get some math. I'm like, I, I don't understand, but that's okay. You do, and that's fine. That's your piece of the puzzle. If I have one piece, I don't know what the puzzle looks like yet. I don't know what your piece of the puzzle, I don't know where your piece of the puzzle goes until we get there. And then Jesus says, hey, place it right there. Oh, that fits. And then, hey, you come over here with your piece. Oh, wow, that fits. And then, hey, you come over here with your three pieces. I gave you a little bit more. The Bible clearly says some he gives more, some he gives less, but he gives, right? And that's the most important. I don't know if I'll show up in heaven with four pieces or not. I'm gonna need his help to place them though. So let's get back to the pictures. All right. Whoa! Come on, Commander Kelly. What? You know you can edit your picture, right? It's right there. Let me show you something here. You see this right here? It's called Go Record. Download that app into your iPhone, go record, and oh no, I'm sorry, that's the one you use so that you can share your screen like I do. YT Studio, YouTube Studio. Download that app, then you can go in there and you can change your picture. But while you're uploading your YouTube, there's a little screen there with little three houses looking things. I think it's three pictures. You can click on that and you can put whatever picture you want. Come on. Anyway, I love this guy. He's amazing. He does some really deep studies, and I'm in his Clapper chat group, and the people in there are just amazing, and everybody's trying to search this out. I couldn't stop laughing at that picture. He posted this. Dude, download the app. He's gonna be mad at me for picking on him. That was hilarious. Uh, you see my sense of humor, right? Okay, let me get back to that. Sorry about that. All right, Exodus 12. Now, I found this. Oh, oh no, this is from before. This is showing you when the head of the year is. If you see in Exodus 12, the head of the year was moved to the first month and the first day of the month, and then you come down here to Exodus 40, and it tells you the first day of the first month shalt thou set up the tabernacle of the tent of the congregation. Now, this guy I'm going to leave that up there for a second. This guy found that Hanukkah is a form of tabernacle. He did a really good study on it. I loved it. It was genius what he found out. So there's not just one tabernacle in the year. There's not just two. There are three. We all know about the tabernacles where Jesus was born. Oh, and if you say Jesus was born on tabernacles and you count from tabernacles and you go forward 280 days, 40 weeks, exactly, Jesus isn't going to cheat the system. He's going to stay in the womb for a full 40 weeks, exactly. And if he stays in there for 40 weeks from tabernacles, he will be born on, I'm sorry, he was conceived, if you go back 40 weeks, he will be conceived on Christmas Day. Everyone says, oh, Christmas Day is a pagan holiday. God made all the days. Satan knew all of these days and he hijacked those days. These days all belong to God. There's no such thing as Satan owning Halloween. That's the day God flooded the whole planet. The irony of it. He destroyed the entire planet on that day, Halloween. He, Jesus was, or Mary conceived on Christmas Day. And if you count exactly 40 weeks, you will land on tabernacles. The tabernacles we all know, the tabernacles we all love, and that happens on September the 30th. That's the day Jesus was born. I know a lot of people are trying to tie Jesus' birth to September the 11th, but if you do that, uh, from the time, if you do that, then you have Jesus conceived on Kislev and born on September the 11th, and that's fine if you want to do that. Let me do this. Let me love to leave that up there all day. Let me go here so I can show it to you. Mary conceives. You add 40 weeks and it lands perfectly on September the 29th. Now, if you back up 18 days to December the 7th, that's fine. We can do that. Because if you come over here to where Jesus was born on September the 30th and you back up 18 days, you will land on September the 11th. The only problem I have with that thought is that if Jesus was conceived on December the 7th, Mary had to ride how do you call a burro, a burro, how do you, donkey. Said it in Spanish, I couldn't remember it in English. Um, had to ride a donkey for 7 days. It takes 7 days for the egg. See over here, you can see on January the 1st, 7 days later, it takes 7 days for the egg to attach to the uterine wall. Now you come down here, and let's say he was born on December the 7th. 7 days later, or 8 days, that would mean that on December the 15th, the last day of Hanukkah, uh, that would mean that Mary went to see her cousin Elizabeth, and John leapt in the womb. He was 6 months old in the womb, 6 months in the womb, and Jesus would have been 8 days old at this point. Now, all that fits. I've tried this before. Love the scenario. I'm all about it. Jesus being born, or I mean, conceived on December the 7th. But here's the problem. When Jesus is born on September the 30th, 8 days later, he is circumcised. It's a huge event. The Bible speaks about this circumcision a lot. But when you come over here to September the 11th, God rested on September the 17th. There is no event in the Bible anywhere about something happening on Tishri 4. He could not have been circumcised on the day God rested. It's 7 days. It's not 8 days. There's nothing here that matches. He could not have been born on September the 11th. Me personally, I think that Enoch was conceived on December the 7th. I can't prove that. I've tried to research it. I can't prove it. Enoch, there was no circumcision. Everything fits here for Enoch. Enoch was conceived on December the 7th. Enoch attached to the uterine wall 8 days later on December the 15th. And Enoch would have been born on September the 11th, the time of life. Commander Kelly said the time of life. So if we use Enoch, and Enoch is the perfect picture of the bride, walked with God, and then he just wasn't. Doesn't speak about a major event. He just poof disappeared one day, just like we will. So on December the 7th, I would say personally, and I can't prove it, but I would say it because December the 7th, Enoch is conceived of, and then he attaches the uterine wall on the last day of Hanukkah, December the 15th. He would have been born exactly 40 weeks later on the first day of creation on September the 11th, and he had no circumcision. No event would have taken place for him 8 days later. Enoch was not circumcised. So that matches more so to Enoch than it does to Jesus right there. All right, I got that out of the way. Let me go back here. Sorry, Commander Kelly. You posted it. All right. All right. We went through all this. I got that cleared up as to why I think Enoch is the one that we're talking about for the time of life. It matches. And Jesus, the only events that perfectly match him is him being born on Tabernacles. And 8 days later, him being circumcised. Just like Tabernacles is a feast for, well, it's 7 days. And then on the eighth day is the Holy Convocation. All right. Feast of, oh, here it is, right here, actually. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, The 15th day of the seventh month shall be the feast of the tabernacles. Talking about Jesus here. This is Jesus all the way. This is when Jesus was born. He was conceived on December the 25th. He was born on tabernacles. tabernacles for 7 days unto the Lord. On the first day shall be a holy convocation. You shall do no servile work therein. 7 days you shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord, and on the eighth day shall be an holy convocation unto you. Jesus is circumcised on that day, and you shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord. It is a solemn assembly, and you shall do no servile work therein. Uh, this is the Feast of Dedication. This is Hanukkah. It is spoken of in the Bible. People are like, that's not a feast. It says it right there. It says it right there in John. And it was at Jerusalem, the Feast of Dedication, and it was winter. We know that this feast happens in winter. We know that Israel recognized, what was it, September the 29th? I can't remember. September the 29th or October the 29th as beginning of winter. It's well into winter by the time we reach December the 7th, Hanukkah. And there you have it. This is where Commander Kelly is looking at, Cool Cat Kelly is looking at that day very intently. I am too, as a matter of fact. But this mystery day of November the 30th keeps popping up everywhere. They keep showing us. This is the passage he found in his video. If you watch, you should be watching his videos. They're fantastic. But if you watched his video, um, he found this in an extra biblical book, and then it more confirmed what he was saying. So from Hanukkah, oh, I don't know, why did I do this? It's over 4 months, it's past 4 months, but April the 8th would be when that eclipse comes in 2024. From Hanukkah to April the 8th, it's 4 months and 2 days. So that was, and that's still happening. That is still happening, by the way. I don't know why. What did I do this? Oh, to show you that the Gregorian calendar is offset from the this timeline that I built, the Enoch. I call it the Enoch timeline. It's not really. Jesus set the timeline up when he said, when he found out that Lazarus had died, he said, "Are there not 12?" That's what set me off right there. When he said, "Are there not 12 hours in the day?" And I'm like, all right, let me just go look in date and time under sun and moon and check in there and find out what day has 12 hours in the day. And there it is. It is March 16th, actually. That's the day that has 12 hours in the day. March 17th will be the first day of the year. March 16th would be the last day of the year. March 16th would be the final Sabbath, setting up the Sabbaths for the following year. And here we have 75 days. It's exactly offset by 75 days. Anybody can figure out, and this is what's beautiful about the timeline that I've made here. Anybody can figure all this stuff out on their own if you just have this 75-day formula. March 17th would be day one, and then you count 75 days later, and then you know the days of the month that are in the Bible. Not all of them are named in the Bible, but we have them, and you can figure out all these dates just like I have. I don't remember, where did I get this from? Oh, where did I get this from? I don't remember where I got this from. Maybe it was, I don't know where it was. I don't know where I got this from. It might have been on Clapper. Some YouTube made this. And now if you take this, walk up to your television, scan it with your phone, like we open up your camera and scan it, it'll take you to a website explaining this is for the left behind. This explaining this. And you take this information and forward it to anybody you want. That way, you're not telling them, and they'll realize that there's other people that are seeing this too. You're not the only crazy one in the room. There's other people in here with you, and you can go in there. So I'm going to hold it up there for a second. Go up there with your phones, with your camera on, and scan this, and send this to different people, or even take a snapshot of this and send it to them and say, you know, they'll have to share phones because you have to scan this thing, but it literally takes you to a whole website explaining this stuff. And is it Bob Barber? I don't remember who did it. I don't recall. It might even say on there who did it. I'll probably get a comment going, it was me. So read the comments. You'll find out who sent this. But this is amazing. This is the type of stuff I'm talking about that needs to be left behind. The saints of the tribulation are super important to me. because they're people we all know. We all know these people. We can be cold hearted all we want. They didn't listen. I tried to warn them. But when it comes right down to chopping their head off, are you ready to do that? No, you're not. You actually care about that person. That's why you're warning that person. They're not listening to you, but they actually are, because when we go, they're going to remember what you said. And this is a good source of information for them right here. Whoa, maybe it was him. No, why do I have him up there? Oh, let me see something here. No. Um, he did a really good video, looking up, posted a short of his video, and I thought it was amazing. And so I took a snapshot. This is, I think, is it Ross? His name is Ross. Uh, oh, they didn't put his site is called New News, News. His name is Ross, News. You should subscribe to him and looking up for that matter. And he put on a really, really good argument for why the rapture's literally days away. I loved it. Very good video. So Craig Bong, I just watched I didn't know this guy's very well spoken. I just watched an interview with him on a large, very large YouTube channel where he discusses a lot of this stuff. And he has posted a video stating December the 12th. I think Craig Bong has a YouTube, if I remember, but he does a lot of work. Yeah, it's right there, YouTube at the bottom. He does a lot of work also on Facebook, and he does a really good job. So please, everybody, I'm telling you to subscribe to. I mean it. I'm serious with this. I'm not even. I don't even. I've got 19,000 subscribers, and I never thought it would grow that big, but I'm telling you, these people, they all have a piece of the puzzle. Take your piece of the puzzle and subscribe to them and share their videos. Take your piece. If we really are going here in the next 2 days or in the next 6 days or seven, was it 8 days until Hanukkah? If we really are going, are you going to regret not sharing that? You know, when you get there, is God going to take your piece of the puzzle and give it to me? You don't want that. I know you don't want that. So do your part. Subscribe to those channels I'm talking about, if nothing more than to help their algorithm grow. And that's because of the saints. It's all because of the saints. I don't do this for the bride. You're already saved. You've already been called. You're secure. You're done. You're in. You're in. You're in like Flint. You're in. But the saints that are left behind are those who have not fully trusted in Christ. They are not saved yet. Every saved person is going, but those who haven't fully trusted in Christ are not saved yet. They are not going, and they are going to need these resources that I'm showing you. Uh, and do your part and subscribe to those channels. Not even ask you to subscribe to mine, although I will. I want you to subscribe to theirs because it's very important because of the information that they have. All right. I think that's it. Is it? No, that's not it. 280 days. Oh, this was me working on if this was Enoch. If Enoch was, in fact, conceived at the time of life on December the 7th. And again, I don't know, but it matches. It has to match. It's the only person that we know of that went to heaven that was not circumcised. Was Elijah circumcised? Could this be Elijah? Let me think. Was he circumcised? He didn't have a, from what I heard, Enoch has a family history, and Elijah has no family history to speak of, no lineage. So I don't think either one of them were circumcised. So who does this match the most? I know it can't match Jesus because the 8th day he was circumcised, and it had to be a holy convocation, and there just isn't one 8 days after September the 11th. It just doesn't. It just doesn't exist. So it's one of those two. In the 8th month, in the 2nd year of Darius. So I found this in Zechariah. Here we are in the 8th month. What happens in the 8th month that we know of? It's the flood. The flood happens. And read Zechariah, and you'll see this. But then what happens by the 4 and 20th day, in the 11th month? which is exactly 60 days after what we think the rapture is going to be on December the 7th. This would be February the 7th, right? Wouldn't that come up to February the 7th? December, January. We have to go, let's see. Yeah, February the 7th would be. So this is months afterwards, and you read down there and you'll see the red horse. This is one of the horsemen of the apocalypse. I saw by night, and behold, a man riding upon a red horse. This is speaking of one of the horses of the apocalypse. It doesn't speak about all four of them, but it speaks of one of them. And this happens 2 months after we think we have to go before this. We have to go before the end of 2023. We have to. It matches the Psalms. We got to go. All right. There's again that November the 30th keeps popping up. This guy right here is a prepper. Is he trying to remember? Is this Luis? I don't recall which one it is. One of the big prepper channels. And no, is this? Yeah, I think this is Luis from. I don't recall what his. I don't remember what his prepper channel is. But look at this. NASA and weather experts have alerted that a solar storm can hit the Earth on November the 30th, causing a minor blackout of radio and GPS signals. They are sounding the alarm. November the 30th, internet GPS blackout. So, what do you think is going to happen on the day of the rapture? What's the most important thing? Communication. Satan, or maybe it's part of the rapture deal. Satan would call foul like he did with Moses' bones, saying, hey, if you allow all the information to flood out, I won't have time to give what I say happen. So maybe I don't know why it's allowed to happen, but when the rapture occurs, there's a blackout. There's no communication, there's no nothing. People are going to be left to their own devices to try to figure this out, and the only ones that are going to be protected are the ones that said, I mean, you got 10 people, 5 people in a house, 4 people in a house, and one of them poof disappears, and they're like, that person was right. They said it. They said it, and they're gone. I watched their clothes fall to the floor. They're gone that quick, and there'll be no information. And the other three will be like, that wasn't the rapture. It must have been something else. Let's watch the news for that information, and they're going to get the wrong information. So it's very important right now more than ever. It's very important to warn as many people as you can and send that. Is that a QR code? Is that what they call those things? Send that QR code and take a look at it yourself before you send it. Make sure you didn't get the wrong one. I looked at it. It should be fine. I get into trouble there. All right, so go to a quiet place. Now's the time. Now's the time. You're running out of time. I say that, and I've been saying that for 3 years, but 3 years, as opposed to 6,000 years, in contrast, isn't very much time. So go to a quiet place by yourself. Nobody needs to know. You don't need to tell anybody except the Lord in your heart. And then go out and tell everybody. Tell everybody. Share that information with everybody that they might also do that. But if they're hard headed enough and think they've got it secure, that when it doesn't happen, there isn't mass confusion. They'll know exactly what happened, and what they need to do is to tear off the world like Elisha did and put on that mantle and follow Jesus only. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Increase that. Like the videos. I do the same thing. I'm watching a video and I keep forgetting to like. Somebody's always in there going, hey, go do the like button. The likes literally help with the algorithm to get this information out. And I firmly believe that this is going to be a source, mine and everybody else I named, is going to be a very important source for those tribulation saints. You know them, I know them. They just, it's very important. It's going to be a scary time. You really don't want literally your worst enemy going through that. It's going to be something else. So uh, please remember to do all that. And I thank you, and hopefully I know, I've said it so many times. Hopefully, we go November the 30th, December the 7th, and we're just out of here and it's finally all over with. I'll leave you with this before I go. Oh my goodness. Edit your pictures, Commander Kelly. He's going to be so mad at me. I'm sorry, Commander Kelly. I really am. But I'm not. All right, we'll chat with you all again later. Oh my goodness. Maybe that's why the audio didn't work. I didn't want me to upload that picture of Commander Kelly, but you posted it. It was hilarious. I can't stop laughing about that. I got to delete that picture because every time I go by it, I just start cracking up. All right. Hopefully this time the audio uploads, and I will be looking at the comments to try to see if you guys find any other dates or bring your piece of the puzzle into this understanding that we have as to do you have anything else on November the 30th? It keeps popping up. It's like a mystery date. I don't know why it keeps showing up. And, you notice there in the Bible it alludes to it 3 days before Kislev 20, Kislev 20 being December the 3rd, and 3 days prior to that would be November the 30th. So it's, I don't know. We're just gonna keep watching and keep hoping and praying that this is it. Again, Commander Kelly's dug out Psalms so well. Cool Cat. Keep saying Commander Kelly. And then you're not going to subscribe to him because you're looking for Commander Kelly. I nicknamed him that because he does so well. You got to watch. I listened to his video today. He takes his videos way into the night, and I work 6 o'clock in the morning, so I can't stay up. And I listen to it during the day at work. And there was a bunch of atheists in his live, and he really broke it down and literally will bring you to tears. Listening to Cool Cat explain to the atheists on what thin ice they're treading and how dangerous a position it is to be in. It doesn't, and he did such an, I couldn't even top what he did as far as explaining to them um, why it's so important. It doesn't matter. I could tell you all day long that this bottle is not white and it doesn't have, that blue or purple writing on it. I could tell you that all day long. But the fact is, the bottle is white and has blue writing on it. Um, I could tell you this isn't a pair of glasses, but it's a pair of glasses. And they're telling you, the atheists will say, there's no God, none of this all fake. The Bible was written by man, none of it's real. And Commander Kelly really gets, and I like his energy. There's a lot of people in there. I had trauma when I was a kid. I don't like yelling. Then turn the volume down. Commander Kelly, keep yelling because it really works. Uh, Maybe I need to be yelled at. I don't know. But his explanation of how foolish it is to be in the position of not believing that God is real. What That's a foolish thought, a foolish concept, and you're about to get schooled. And the last place you want to you might go pray you go into tribulation and change your heart in tribulation because the next step is the lake of fire after that. So you might not believe any of this stuff right now. You might think this is all silly, but there is going to come a day where you're going to have to make a clear, concise choice on where you want to go. And those people that go into the lake of fire have made a clear, concise choice that that's where they want to be. And it is horrifying. And he does such an excellent job explaining that. So please go subscribe to his channel. There's just so many wonderful channels out here, and everybody that I listen to, I take that piece of, I don't take from them, but I take their piece of puzzle and that they're using, and they do such fantastic work. And some of it's, not all of us have it right. Some of it's wrong. Some of it's amazing. So uh, do your part. That's free. It's free. Subscribe to them. Get their numbers up. So that way, when the rapture does occur and they go out searching, and they're like, find me a video that has the most likes on the rapture, and you have this one video that's got 20,000 likes, 3,000 subscribers, 20,000 likes. Just like the video. You don't even have, if you don't, I mean, I wish you would subscribe to them, but at least like the video, get the algorithm up, because I am thoroughly convinced that all the work we're doing is not for the bride. We want to go, we're dreaming about it, we're trying to find it, but we aren't losing anything. We might lose a crown, but we're not losing our position as being the church, the bride that goes in First Thessalonians. We're not losing that position. That goes, what is it, by Revelation 4. We're not losing that position. There's nothing we can do to lose it. Um, However, you're going to gain tribulation as opposed to hell. And that's where, at least at that point, all this information that we're giving, if they see it and they sit down and build timelines and do deep studies like Kelly does, and all these pieces of the puzzle come to, maybe that's who's assembling the puzzle is them. Because quite frankly, the bride doesn't need any of this stuff. We're already done. We're sealed. We're doing this because we're trying to figure out when we're going. And by virtue of us figuring out when we're going, it is enabling them to figure out when they're going. And just an inside, I've always believed that the saints are not here for 3.5 years, that they're only here for a very short period of time because God, when He turns His attention back to Israel, it's not, I'm turning my attention back to Israel. Oh, and this great multitude that no man can count also, it doesn't, I don't see it anywhere that it's 3.5 years. There is a 3.5 year point where Satan goes in, and there's a 3.5 year point where the two witnesses die. But I still think, though, and it might just be that through the first 3.5 years, as those people die, they just pop up and appear in heaven, and they just pop up there. Um, There is only one rapture. I want to clarify that, but I want to explain it. There is only one rapture, but there is a gathering after that. We're not the only group going to heaven. Don't let anybody tell you there's only one rapture and there's only one group going to heaven. That's not true. There is one rapture only, which means a rapture means taking out of imminent danger. What is imminent danger? The world? No, it's been dangerous since Satan's been running it for 6,000 years. The rapture is an event taking us out of the way from God's judgment. And God's judgment begins when those seals begin to become opened. And that is what we're being taken from. There is only one rapture. Nobody else will be taken before those seals are opened. Everybody else will be taken during the seals being opened. And I don't know if it's this person, please, Lord, save me. They die. I mean, there's a comet headed towards Earth. We're all going to die in 5 minutes. They drop to their knees. They pray to God, please, I'm done. All my works is for nothing. There's a comet coming to destroy me. It's going to hit right here where I live. And there's going to be 17 million people that die. And there's no way, I've got 5 minutes. There's no way for me to get away from it. I'm going to die. How many of those people will drop to their knees and pray, Lord, I don't know a thing about you. I've never even tried, but I do. And Commander Kelly said this. He said that every single one of us has an inherent understanding, a base understanding of God, and that even an atheist at the last moment before they die, a terrible death, will scream out for God. They will just do it. And when they do that, they will be saved and they will be carried to heaven. Some people will be so hard headed and just, I guess, go out to the pool, drink a beer and whiskey chaser or whatever they call that. Was it a whiskey and a, no, is it a beer and a whiskey chaser? I don't know. I don't drink. So, but they'll go out there and sit there and go, oh, well, no God, it's time to die. And they'll just sit there and die and they'll wake up in the lake of fire. That's where they'll wake up. So just keep praying for those people, keep thinking on those people. All right, let me get off here and hopefully this time the audio will upload and we'll chat with you again later.